Hello everyone, it's Kari. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make an interactive card with the new Hedgehog Hollow October kit. This kit is full of really fun images with lots of scene building stamps, some snowmen, Christmas words, sentiments like wrapped for you, be full of joy, handmade with care. There's a lot of sentiments, and this beautiful stencil that has snowflakes and some additional things on the side. Today I'm going to be using this die that came with the kit. It's an interactive die, but first I got to show you I got some new goodies from scrapbook.com. The domed blending tools came. I had to order a bunch more when I saw how much I loved them. I tried it out first and then I ordered a few more. The inking goes on really easily with these blending tools because it's domed. It doesn't have any harsh edges. So I found that for me, it was a lot faster and easier to blend with these. So I've got 3 different colors here, and I am going to just ink them on really quick. I have sped this up just a little bit, but you're going to see I started with a brand new foam for this one, and look how nice that goes on. Normally with the other ones, it would take me a while to get that ink kind of on the blending tool enough, and they worked better when they were full of ink, but this one just inks up nicely and it was so fast. So for this little turn wheel here, I wanted it to be the same color as that bottom piece. And so that's I think it's weathered wood, if I'm remembering correctly. So here's what it's going to look like. Now I'm just testing out those reindeer to make sure they're going to fit. I think I'm going to stamp that on the top. And then I have this arrow piece here that we're going to stamp right on top of that turn die right there. To do this is really easy when you have a MISTI stamping tool. I am just going to place the magnet right in the middle and then stamp that down with some VersaFine Onyx black. Very simple, and there it is. I am so glad that they included that stamp in the set. Then it tells people what to do for this card. I'll stamp on the reindeer with the same black ink, and I'm going to set that aside to dry for a few minutes. So now that it has been drying, I will take this stencil, and I've already taped off just one of the snowflakes because I just want to put a few of these snowflakes on. And I'm going to be using this glimmer paste. This is different than glitter paste. Actually, no, this is the Glacier paste. This came out new this year at Creativation, and it is so beautiful. I can't remember the name of this, but I will have all the names of everything listed in the supply list below. But you can see I just took the portion of this Glacier paste that was on the top there. I didn't need to actually get any more because I already had some on my Nuvo spatula, and this is my favorite one because it has kind of an angle to it. Makes it so easy to add this to such a small area. Now I got a little bit on the edge there. If you're going to be doing this, be sure to make sure the back of your stencil is cleaned off before you add another snowflake. So I did that before doing this one. Lesson learned. Oh, so there we go. I'm just going to add 3 of those and let those dry. Now I've already colored up some of these images, and I'm going to be attaching Santa's arms. As I'm doing this voiceover, I just realized that I colored up one of his arms opposite of the other. So he's got one red arm and one green arm, and one red mitten and one green mitten. But that's okay. He's still Christmassy. This little elf is going to be holding some of the presents, and he's going to jump up to hand Santa some of those presents on this card. That's the idea anyway. So for this die, to put these together, I'm going to be attaching it with some brads, and you will get some in your kit. I found that it's better to attach this one to the front. So I did change this out and added that arm to the front of the dial. And then add the dial to the actual card itself, the panel. And then we're going to split those two little arms there, and we'll add a brad to the front of each of those. Now, you don't want to attach these brads too tightly because you want to make sure they have room enough to move. So I attached that one rather loosely, and then I'm going to attach this one as well. It's really easy to put these together. However, I attached that one too tight. So I took that out, added a different one, and there you have it. It's awesome. It moves. So now it's time to add our images, and I found a few tricks along the way. For example, for this chimney, I am going to cut down some foam tape to add it to the card, and I cut it so that Santa would have plenty of room to go up and down. So I added 2 layers for each of those, and then I'm going to attach it right to the card. And I just added them on the very edges so that there would be plenty of room for him to go up and down. See that? When I attached this, I wanted to make sure that you could still see the arrows on that little turn dial. So I added it far enough up so you could still see that. And after every time I add something, then I added a little bit of foam tape on the corner there as well. I end up removing that later, so anyway. I originally started adding Santa with some glue dots. These are the permanent large glue dots, but I found that he turned and twisted a little too much. So I'm using a little trick here where I die cut a circle, and I have a little hole punched in the center of that circle, and he fits just behind Santa so that it is disguised. You won't be able to see it. So I took off that brad, added the circle die, reattached the brad, not too tight, and then I tested it again just to make sure everything's working, and then I'm going to go ahead and add Santa with some mini foam dots. And this worked really well because I added just enough so that he would pretty much stay straight every time that he popped up and out of that chimney. So there you have it. I'm going to add him down, so I did have to adjust this just a few times just to make sure that his feet wouldn't pop all the way out. This is where I figured out I needed to take off that extra foam piece on the edge of the chimney. So I'm going to test this out quite a few times, and there's the elf. We're going to attach him now. The circle that I cut for Santa was too big to fit on the back of that elf. See, it just showed too much. So I thought, let's try this one just using that glue dot. So I did fold the glue dot a little bit onto itself so that it was nice and strong. It seemed to work just fine. Just had to do a little bit more adjusting there just to make sure that this was going to work perfectly, and look at that. Beautiful. So now I'm going to attach this. Well, actually, first I'm going to add some snowflakes with a white gel pen. I added some large ones and some smaller dots all over this card so that it would look like it was a snowy evening. And now I'm going to attach it with some foam tape to the black card panel there. Now, when you attach this with foam tape, you just want to make sure that you don't interrupt any of those moving pieces. So I cut this down so that it was thinner, and it fit just nicely that way. And then I'm going to test it out to make sure that it works before I attach it, and it worked perfectly. So now I will pull those backings off and attach this to the card panel, and then I'll attach the entire panel to the card base itself. Look how cute this little scene is. It's such a fun interactive card. I love this die. I'm using my favorite liquid adhesive to attach this to the card base, and I'm using a heavier 110-pound card base paper for this, and it holds up really nicely. I had to trim off a little bit of the white that was showing. And there is our card. To finish this off, I white heat embossed the Wrapped for You sentiment on some black cardstock. And I just wanted to test that to make sure it wouldn't get in the way. I am attaching this straight down with some liquid adhesive instead of popping it up on foam tape like I would usually do. But I didn't want it to get in the way of that little elf jumping up and down. But this worked perfectly. So I wanted to show you one more trick to keep that dial popped up. I am taking some foam tape, but I'm leaving the backing on so that it will slide easily, but it will keep that dial popped up so it's easier to move that dial up and down. And so that is our card. So cute, with the elf handing Santa the presents so Santa can deliver those packages on Christmas Eve. I hope you enjoyed this project today using the Hedgehog Hollow October kit. It's such a fun one. I love these kits because there's always something new and different, and I'm never bored. I'm always excited to get these kits. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope I see you again soon. I'll be back real soon with some more inspiration. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.